I recently sat down with Erik Garcia, Deputy Campaign Manager for incumbent Mayor Michael Tubbs' re-election campaign. He offered a unique look into what it takes to work on a campaign amid a global pandemic. Are there any unique strategies that you and your associates have adopted while working on this campaign during the pandemic?
One thing that is very important, obviously, is like having those one-on-one conversations with people and like feeling like they relate. Like, say, even it's called like retail politics. Say if you go out and people actually see you out in the community, but if everybody's supposed to be inside, how do you make those random connections with people? So one strategy that we employed is virtual house parties. So with these, we would invite people. So we'd have a supporter who has friends who perhaps aren't so politically involved or maybe haven't heard about the mayor. What we do is we have them invite, a big group of their friends, usually up to like 12 or so. And then you bring them in and then we have them meet the mayor. It's all virtual, of course, but it still gives you that feeling of you can still ask them a question in one-on-one interaction without having to be actually face-to-face.
Now, talking about virtual house parties, how has that been working out?
Well, as Latinx myself, one of my goals has always just been to connect my people more to politics, because I think we need to. It's just something that we aren't used to doing, but I think is important. I remember I'd reach out to a lot of Spanish-speaking folk in the community that I know maybe don't usually have access to the mayor or people in power in general. And since I do translating services, I speak Spanish, I translate for them and do a communication between them. So I think, after having a couple of those, even the mayor just said, like, that's awesome, because like I feel like I don't usually get to talk to these people. So they, apart from it not being in person, the ones that we did have, I think people still felt connected and so the point of them was just to bring them into the campaign, and I think it worked well because all those people are supporters now who do help us along with volunteering and stuff like that.
That sounds pretty exciting. Would you say that's been the most exciting part of working on this campaign, or is there something else that has stuck out to you?
I think in general, the best part about working on the campaign, in particular, I would say with the mayor, Michael Tubbs, is that he has so many connections in the community, and local community, and national as well. But more so, like in the local community, there's so many people that I know. Whenever I was on the outside looking in, thinking like, wow, like this person's amazing, that person's awesome. Like look at that guy's like credentials, and look at that. Like I was like, wow, like. And then now I'm working one-on-one with them, and not only am I working one-on-one with them, a lot of times I have to lead them and give them direction. So that's amazing. And then also, like for example, the other day, I do like the outreach for him. So for example, like Jose Hernandez, like the astronaut. The other day we've had his endorsement, but I was speaking to him working on the endorsement post. And it's really cool to just be working one-on-one with such a like a figure like that.
And the hardest part?
So we are driven by volunteers, and like our campaign really relies on them. So we have to do volunteer outreach and try to reach out to people to help us. But at the same time, I know particularly how many people are struggling in the community. And sometimes it can be tough to say like, hey, can you take some time out of your day and help me with this for free per se? But obviously we're all on the same, we have the same mindset that it's a larger goal in mind, but still it's tough actually having, do that outreach knowing that there's so many people that are needing. It's more like I wish I would be calling and asking them how I could help them at times.
As he mentioned, communication was a key subject among campaign workers and constituents alike. Since I was first connected to it through social media, I thought it fitting to ask about the campaign's online presence. Facebook was actually how I first discovered the campaign. I saw you were reaching out for, I think it was volunteers on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
And that's how I got connected with you, and then addressing the letters and helping you send those out. Are there any other social media platforms that you are using to reach out to potential voters?
So Facebook's a big one, but the mayor is also really big on Instagram. He's, being more like close to my age, I think it's something that he gravitates to a lot, and Twitter. But I wouldn't say we do that much campaigning out in Twitter and Instagram, just because it's like the platform isn't really for it, I would say. But we still use it to get out our message generally, as for example, just to like have somebody post something and have their friends see it. But more focused on Facebook. We also have another community. It's called Mobilize. And it's literally just a group of people, and only they can kind of see what's being posted. But it's also kind of cool because people can give their bio and kind of interact within the people in the group themselves. But again, it's a different platform, and there's been so many platforms that people have had to adopt this campaign that it hasn't been as popular as Facebook.
I ended the interview by asking about what was in store with the election just days away. And now, as election day draws nearer, are you finding yourself, getting more busy, getting busier, just working a little more than usual on this campaign?
Usually, with regular election, you have GOTV week, which is that last week that you're trying to get out the vote. But it's not even necessarily a construct of the coronavirus. It's because we switched to all mail-in voting. That everybody got their ballot in the mail. That it seems like people are the whole month. It's been like a GOTV month. So it's been it still becomes more work towards the end. Where it's pretty much known, we already know that towards the end of the last week or last couple of weeks, we're just going to be working like 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, like really long hours. But it just seems that now, the actual last week, we are switching our strategy to instead of reaching out to new voters, it's just reminding them to vote, getting closer as well. I think the anxiety starts to rise, not necessarily for us, but just everybody in general, and everybody wants to get involved and do something. So really it starts becoming just that instead of doing, maybe you had one thing set that you're used to doing, more of a schedule, it's more of just a whole bunch of different things. You gotta be very flexible closer to election.
Mm-hmm. All right, that about wraps it up.
Awesome.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, I think that was good. I think that went well. I only lost my train of thought once.
No worries. Thank you so much, Erik.
Yeah, of course.
And I wish you and your team the best of luck.